Hey, what's up guys, Ruff here. So it's with a heavy heart that I share today's video, knowing that myself and many of the content creators I enjoy and you enjoy as well are absolutely cooked. We're finished. Stick a fork in us. We are done because another call out threat has been made against us. Okay guys, I know the theatrics are here. I'm going to push them to the side. We're farming more content, right? If life gives you lemons, make lemonade. And that is the case with deranged, virtue-signaling weirdos on social media. If they want to whine about you unprompted, you farm them for content. Now, who is the lucky mouthpiece for today's video? Well, it's this account right here. Yet another gimmick account breaking character to whine about people like me. A Pokemon-themed account here, Bon Propaganda, who decided to take a break from their gimmick, which includes playing the role of a Pokemon, to make a series of tweets. And there is a deleted piece of the story, but this is 3 tweets back to back to back that really tell a story, okay? Beginning with a congratulatory post to themselves about getting a certain number of followers. Then they get really angry. And then they announce that they're privating because of right-wingers and their fans destroying them. I mean, this is a classic case of me literally sitting by and doing nothing because the product of this is RDS, better known as Rev Derangement Syndrome, and this guy is hooked. Like I said, there's supposed to be a gimmick account, playing as a Pokemon here, you know, having posts like this, but something was different the other day, where they said this, to the tune of 2,000 likes, by the way. Don't follow me if you follow/watch Chibi Reviews, Nuxtaku, Rev, Asmongold, Kirsha, or bigoted creators in general. These guys are the death of content creation, and anyone who enables them does not have Palm's approval. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but I really care about one currency in life, and that is the approval of this gimmick account. If you don't have the approval of this gimmick account, I'm sorry, you're just missing out. You know, I don't go to the bank trying to deposit money. I go to the bank trying to deposit the approval of Twitter user PalmBon, okay? But yeah, you can see this is virtue signaling post number 10 million, including the usual suspects, Chibi Reviews, Nuxtaku, myself, Asmongold, and Kirsha, and we are the bigoted creators. Now, of course, individuals like this cannot provide a single reason why that label would apply to any of us. It simply boils down to person I don't like. And of course, we are the death of content creation according to this individual. Meanwhile, I guess this is what the peak of content creation looks like. It feels very VTuber scene-esque, you know? Like, this is the stuff we see in the VTubing scene. This person's outside of it, but maybe they should think about a career in VTubing because making virtue signaling posts about us like this is a good way to get attention. So in the replies, there was some initial confusion. This individual saying, wait, what's wrong with Poco Rev? Where the original poster says, not that Rev, I meant this Rev right here. So yeah, there was that and a lot of other confused replies, but people were supporting it because, you know, calling out problematic content creators like myself is an easy way to get likes on Twitter. But the reply section would take a very drastic turn thanks to a comment from Madam Savvy, who was questioning the narrative and the purpose of this thread in the first place, which eventually would be deleted. But this was Madam Savvy's response, saying, ah yes, hate as a personality is all your demographic has. And that clearly struck a nerve with the gimmick account here, who replied by saying, yeah, you're one to talk, you transphobic twats, with this post as proof of Madam Savvy being transphobic. They have an issue with what Madam Savvy is calling out in this screenshot, and it has to do with egg cracking, which I'll explain in just a minute. But Madam Savvy would quote that reply, saying, this account supports grooming. Very cool. He specifically uses this example, taking issue with what I said. That graphic was posted by a very ill person who plays Pokemon to crack eggs. That graphic encourages people to push femboys to become trans, aka grooming. In quotes, feminine cis men have to be trans and it's okay to push them. That was the quote that Madam Savvy was calling out, calling it disgusting, and saying it relates to this whole egg cracking culture, which, as she stated, has to do with adults primarily approaching confused children and trying to convince them to become trans. And Madam Savvy, like many others, consider that to be grooming. And she concludes her statement by saying, this account willingly wants to groom, which is why it's in the Pokemon fandom. So, yeah, this was the situation she was calling out, but the gimmick account said that reaction was transphobia. Apparently, it's transphobia to not want adults to confuse children in that sort of manner. Yeah, that didn't go very well, and things would change very quickly in the replies section. But this gimmick account would then lock replies to prevent anyone else from chiming in on that situation, saying locking replies F all of you. This is a classic example of someone picking a fight, getting outed for some pretty concerning reactions to backlash, and then locking the replies and eventually deleting the entire thing. Basically, people like me who were called out ended up winning by literally doing nothing. It's pretty impressive. But during the midst of all this chaos, before everything was truly deleted, they made this tweet saying, Palm, very angry right now. Going back to their gimmick, like it's like a instinctual response when confronted with legitimate criticism. They go back to their gimmick, and people are like, what happened? And they say, hashtag, they found me. And other people were asking, oh, what, the grifters? And they explain, the original poster, that these are people who became Nazis on Twitter because they can make money off it. So again, we have this situation where they make a call-out post unprompted about people like me. Then Madam Savvy challenges that, and the person responds by calling Madam Savvy a transphobe for having an issue with egg-cracking culture. And now they're blaming this whole situation and all the backlash on, I guess, Nazis on Twitter. It's such a ridiculous cop-out. Like, anyone paying attention to how this all went down knows what actually happened. But they continue on when prompted with this response saying, the grifters found you? And they say, mm-hmm. And they go even further, saying, the Asmongold bootlickers found me. I mean, we're adding in Asmongold derangement syndrome. We already knew this was a part of it thanks to the original post, but I mean, come on. Like, we're going down, me and Asmongold. It's over, ladies and gentlemen. This is the foolproof thread. But this one's particularly funny. And why I wanted to include a part about Asmongold here, because he literally did nothing. He didn't even lift a finger. He never talked about this. He didn't even engage. His fans didn't engage. No one engaged under the name of Asmongold. But this gimmick account is blaming Asmongold and the bootlickers for finding it. It's an amazing set of mental gymnastics. They've created an entire little like play-by-play of how this actually went down in their mind, despite the fact that reality just went very differently. But you can see people pointing out in the replies, grown man acting like a Pokemon. And they respond by saying it's a Pokemon account. It's going to tweet like a Pokemon. Well, maybe you should continue tweeting like a Pokemon instead of like crashing out. Like if I had a nickel for every gimmick account that crashes out over me while breaking character to do so, I'd have a lot at this point. I'm going to be real with you guys. Like that sort of joke there, I would have a lot. I'd be able to buy like a good, not just like a fast food burger at this point with all the nickels. I could get like a Five Guys burger at this point. That's how many I have collected. But they would add one more tweet to the scenario saying privating until tomorrow because right-wingers and their fans don't know how to respect boundaries. Palm posting will be back tomorrow, but for now, it's just you and admin. Which is very interesting because the backlash began by, well, this account picking a fight. But second of all, they were called out by people like Madam Savvy, and their response was being angry about egg cracking being called out, which, you know, very rich for this person to talk about respecting boundaries when they're upset about people calling out egg cracking, which is all about violating boundaries and violating a whole lot of things. But yeah, very interesting situation. Just another example of many different derangement syndromes at hand here. This person has multiple derangement syndromes, but I guess, mine is one of those included. But yeah, guys, please have me in your thoughts during these difficult times when I'm getting absolutely eliminated by these threads. But I can't thank these accounts enough for not only providing free content, but allowing everyone to see exactly who they are and what they stand for, completely unprompted, by the way. But anyways, that's going to do it for today's video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.